Alright, so I want to talk about Mechwarrior 5. Now, Mechwarrior 5's been out for a bit, and the player reviews, in my opinion, are right on. I feel like, and when I say player reviews, I'm saying, people playing the game, not not like what journalists have put out. But players have been pretty dead on how they feel about the game. I agree with their sentiment, and this is how I feel about MechWarrior 5. And this isn't like a review, but just some things that I think about when it comes to the MechWarrior or BattleTech series, and perhaps what may come in the future. So, with MechWarrior 5, one of the biggest things that players have pointed out that was like, I think anyone who's played the game understands, is the story was pretty much garbage. I'm sorry, the story was bad. The only thing that kept my attention was anything that had to do with the clans. Other than that, I really didn't pay any attention because the story it didn't make you like invested in it in any sort of way. It didn't immerse you into the boots of who this guy is, the main character, and his story. It just didn't. It pretty much, to me, like, if you played the previous BattleTech, the Paradox, Harebrained Schemes, I believe, BattleTech game, the outside, like over the top down view, that one, it was pretty much like playing that game. In fact, even the UI was like you took the BattleTech game and slapped it onto MechWarrior Online. That's how I felt about the game. Yeah, I get that it's all BattleTech, so of course, like, but no, they could have done a lot more in the game. With BattleTech, I enjoyed that game because, I mean, it does let you do like mercenaries, like MechWarrior 4 mercenaries. But the thing is, you actually had more control in BattleTech because you had a part of the Inner Sphere map, unless you were playing Rogue Tech, which that's how I felt about MechWarrior 5. It's like you took the previous BattleTech game and put it on top of MechWarrior Online and slapped the Rogue Tech, Inner Sphere map on there. But it's not just that, it's the combat. The combat, I think, was the best part of the game. It's a little bit more arcadey than MechWarrior Online, so it's not the same. But one thing I will say is, as great as the combat is, the horrible AI just destroys any excitement in the game, especially when you have a mission that's like, hey, let's protect this base, and then you look at your squad mates and they're just running around tearing every building down. Your whole land is just destroying every building, and it's like, come on, like, you could have done better. Now, yeah, they put patches in to help that issue and make them use jump jets, which I still haven't seen yet, but supposedly, like, they'll use jump jets now or something. But it was a whole bunch of things, like the enemy spawning infinitely. Like, if you took out every enemy on the map, they just keep spawning over, and like, you'll get a bonus, but come on, you can't spawn infinite enemies. But that's what they'll do. They'll just keep spawning infinite enemies continuously until you leave, or how they'll spawn them out of nowhere. That's the worst part when they like, especially in a game where you don't want to take any damage because you know that's just more days of repair. And so when an enemy literally spawns on top of you and shoots you, it's like, oh, come on. Because like if you're playing Mechwarrior Online, when you spot an enemy, they're pretty far away, right? And it's like that in BattleTech, but the thing is, in Mechwarrior 5, it's not like that at all. The enemy is like right on top of you, and if you're not looking at them, you don't see them. That's another thing that kind of threw me off, is that you have to actually look at the enemy. They have to be in your line of sight to even pick up on your radar. Sometimes even that doesn't work for some. So there's a lot of issues it has, and it's had some patches, but I don't feel like it completely did better than Mechwarrior 4 Mercenaries, because at least I really liked Mechwarrior 4 and 4 Mercenaries because I at least liked the story. I at least was into the story, and like I was invested. But Mechwarrior 5, I wasn't even thinking about the story. I was just thinking about what planet I was gonna go to, what contract I was gonna accept. That's all I cared about, and that's all you were pretty much doing throughout the game. Like, it has you grind. It literally put a grind in the game. You have to grind your way up until we give you another story mission, and it's like, come on. After a while, like, you're excited in the beginning, like when you're first playing the game for the first time, you're really excited because you're walking in your base, you're seeing all these mechs, like from your like perspective, they're like huge and stuff like that. But that wears off really quick. That was something that really bothered me. The whole time I was in my base, or the leopard. I don't know if you're in a jump ship or a leopard, but anyway, I'm sitting in there and I'm like, yeah, that's gonna be cool when you start upgrading this thing. Like, you upgrade your base, or that'll be cool when you start like establishing bases on these planets and stuff like that. That's what I was thinking. Like, I thought they brought it to that level where you start, like, as you start gaining a reputation, you might have a planet of your own, to build a base or something. Like, I thought you have. I also thought you would have more than one lance. I thought at some point, like, you'll be commanding like many lances, but nah, it's just one lance. So that was disappointing. No upgrades to your base, which I think the game desperately needed some sort of upgrade system, something, because it's like now running around your base isn't even exciting. I mean, you just run to the console and just skip like having to actually see the person you need to talk to. You just go straight to the console and do whatever you need to do because there's nothing in the base for you, like, really. So there was things like that. And with Mechwarrior 4, I did enjoy creating different types of configurations with these mechs. Obviously they're not omni mechs, so you can't like try all types of things, but it seemed like it was very limited though compared to 4. But 4 was definitely later, so like 4 is like in the FedCom Civil War, and this one is like 3025 or something like that. I forgot what year it was. But what bothers me is it's clear that there's gonna be like DLCs, expansions, and stuff like that. Like, I feel like monetizing the game or somehow is like going to happen, but I just felt like at some point you like the new ish of the game wears off way too fast. Like, you get tired of the base you're in really fast, every planet you're on is like, like you get tired of the planets you're on really fast because the missions is all the same and just different biome, but still it's like it's all blur at this point. And then you have to grind, and then you have these missions where you don't get to repair, you have to redeploy, and like those is like the worst for many people unless you have many mechs. And once you start getting some better mechs, you're still kind of like struggling even when you get better mechs, because the enemies can just throw enemies at you like constantly. And they're hitting you up from out of nowhere, so it's like taking damage is like inevitable, where you just not I mean, I get it's a Mechwarrior game, you're supposed to like take damage, but like there's a lot of damage you're taking that you could have easily avoided, but you can't because the enemy spawns on top of you. So it's like you're just gonna take damage, and the AI is so bad that it does make me think that the whole entire game was meant to be played co-op, you know. And I've watched people play co-op, and that's cool, but it still didn't quite cut it as far as like a great Mechwarrior game. I don't know. I wasn't really immersed in it. The combat is like I said, is like as big as like pro, but the cons like outweigh everything. So that's my take on the game. But one of the questions I wanted to ask, and maybe someone who's watching this video can answer, but for me, I've read the BattleTech books, and I didn't read all of them because I've read like 80 something of them. These the Stack Poles, all those books, right? And those books ended pretty much at the end of the FedCom Civil War. Now, I played all the Mechwarriors before then, so I didn't truly understand like what the BattleTech universe truly was, and the language and stuff like that, the slang. I didn't understand it until I read the books. Then when I read the books, I was like, oh, now I understand like Mechwarrior, Mechwarrior 2 and 3, and now I understand it, and understand the other mercenary groups and stuff like that. But after the FedCom Civil War, I'm wondering like, where's those books? The last time I asked that question, someone like directed me to like source books, and I'm like, source books? And then I understood like tabletop source books, I guess, because I was reading through those, and they were a chaotic mess. I couldn't understand it. I was just seeing bits and pieces of information that was shocking me. And I'm thinking about the end of Mechwarrior 4 Mercenaries and how they had alluded to what happened later on in its ending, that the word of Blake, like a jihad or whatever. And I know about the jihad. It's just, where's those books? Where's the books on the jihad? Because anytime I ask about it, someone will say, just read the Dark Age books. And I'm like, those books seem to be like long after that's over. Where's the in between? So I'm curious as to where those are. But if anyone knows, let me know. But that's pretty much all I wanted to say about Mechwarrior, and that just Mechwarrior 5 just needs to be more immersive. It has to really put you in there. Don't make it just like the previous BattleTech game, the Harebrained Schemes one. You got to do a bit more than that. Just letting us go to all these planets and it just looks different, but it's the same old same, is not enough. You gotta give us something more to manage and more to do. You know, like if we're able to like expand our operations, or have someone else like have like ranks and have people like command their own lands and do, like, you know how you got these huge mercenary groups and they're doing contracts, you know, all over the place. You can't just all be in one spot. You know, it's always you, right? So, you know, I just hoped there was like more, more to do, more to work towards, and more to give you like a lot of excitement about what you're doing. But the game is lacking there. Anyway, that's all I needed to say. So, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching.